Alright, let's do this! One Punch Man is one of the best superhero comics in years. One Punch Man is based off of a Japanese webcomic of the same name that's still coming out today. It was later adapted and is currently appearing in Young Jump webcomic. I only found out about this series within the last 18 months. It's starting to gain popularity, but that being said, I'm surprised that its popularity hasn't skyrocketed yet. It's a satire about the superhero genre. It's a story of an unemployed man named Saitama who one day decides to become a superhero. Which brings up an interesting concept of the series. In this world, there are superheroes. There are superheroes, supervillains, cyborgs, aliens, sea kings, etc. But the heroes are graded from on the scale of S being the highest, then A, B, C, D. Imagine for a moment if Superman was an S, I guess Wolverine would be a grade A. Also, as a joke, it seems all the C's in the story are named after letters of the alphabet, such as there's J City or W City. I guess this is saying that all C's in superhero stories are the same basically. I don't necessarily agree with that. The entire series is based off of a single joke. Saitama will defeat everyone in just one punch. It's a good joke, however, it's one that will get old quickly unless you don't make the rest of the story interesting. So it's a good thing that the author of the story, whose name is One, has created many interesting looking and acting characters. Since the reader knows what will happen when Saitama arrives, the setup of the story is the villain of the arc arrives and the other heroes come back. The interactions with the heroes, with each other, and the villain are good that they can go entire chapters without Saitama even making an appearance. Sometimes he just makes a brief cameo. There are times when we spend more time with the secondary characters than the lead character, so when things get dire, we really feel the emotional impact of the scene. The writer and original creator One, I believe, did this in his first manga, and it seems that what he learned there while making the webcomic version, he really upped his game when he came to do the remake. Which brings me to the artist of the series, Murata Yusuke. If you're a fan of Ice Shield 21, you know who he is. It does seem like he changed his art style since Ice Shield 21, however. There seems to be more or a better sense of detail in the images. He's also showcasing a better feel for action since superpowers are involved, so here he can really go gonzo on it. I mean, heck, there are chapters where just one single action takes up 4 to 5 pages. A character could be throwing a punch or firing a blast, and he really focuses on the detail of that action. It's dynamic, but he does parse these out as to not overdo it too much. That said, there is one chapter where it's mostly wordless, and it's just one single action scene. It's like nothing but splash pages. As far as the characters of the series go, it's both positive and negative. While I do enjoy the heroes and even the villains, it's mostly on a surface level, especially when it comes to the villains. Murata Yusuke provides them with a tremendous amount of creativity and thought, but what they want is pretty basic and uninteresting. To take over the world, to destroy everything. Okay, but why? And another issue I have with it is once a series villain is defeated, they never come back. They might look interesting, they might act interesting, but then you have to reset for the next story arc. A new threat pops up, but we never really delve into their character or to find out why they are the way they are or why they want what they want. It's not impossible to take a evil character or a villain and make them interesting. Here's an example: Namor the Submariner or Aquaman. While Aquaman is a hero, he has fought against the surface world. They both fought against the surface world. And when they fight heroes, typically it's because they feel there's injustice being done to their kingdom. As I said before, this is a satire, but that doesn't mean there can't be any depth in the satire. While I feel most of the characters are like that, not all the characters are like that. Some of the characters like Saitama or Genzo, a 19-year-old cyborg S-class talkative hero who looks up to Saitama as a teacher, are like that. And also a recent character, King, who's also another S-class hero, but he has a secret and it's linked to Saitama. As the lead character, Saitama follows the common Japanese fighting manga trope of being a stupid character who wants to get strong. When he does get strong, and he just, however, goes about his life as a normal person would. He plays video games, watches TV, tries to find the best deals at the store. Sometimes he's really blasé about being a hero, and other times he shows a genuine concern about what's happening around him. He has so much concern at one point, he even comes up with a special attack to fight Lord Boris. I mentioned earlier that this was originally based on a webcomic. So is the webcomic any good? Well, here's the thing. The art is horrendously bad. Lately, it's gotten a bit better. I'll get into that a little bit at the end. At times, the art's even incomprehensible. The thing is, typically a webcomic's art doesn't have to be good because it's more about the content or more specifically the writing. I'm thinking the webcomic was used as a storyboard for the remake. So if you want to know where the future issue of the remake will go, that's a good place to look. That said, I can't recommend the webcomic. I say only check it out as a curiosity. It's really tough to get through. Okay, this is more of a nitpick than an actual negative. Other than the lack of characterization, the only thing I can knock this series is its path. Where does the author want to take this? Maybe I've read too many indie comics or Japanese manga, but they tend to have an end goal in mind and then work toward it. I don't get the feeling of that here. This feels a little like a series like Fairy Tail, where there's a basic setup and it goes through the same routine over and over again. One Punch Man isn't at that point yet, but it could be within the next year. Despite all that, I do recommend this series. Actually, I recommend this series to anyone. Fans of Japanese manga or superhero comics or just comics in general. Hell, even people who don't know anything about comics, I think will get something out of here. It's really funny and exciting, and it really plays around with the tropes of the superhero genre. And one last thing before I go, the author one also writes and draws another web manga called Mob Psycho 100. While the art is still rough, he looks like he's finally found his particular style. So check it out and please support the creators. And until next time, goodbye.